This is a twisty course, Marty, just under 2 miles, and part of the course is built around a gravel pit, so it's very rocky. Not too many jumps and bumps, making it a fast track. Lap times are around 1:37 seconds, and the top speeds about 90 miles an hour.
Now let's get ready for our first race of the day. It'll be the Class 8 Championship here at the Brush Run 101. A huge crowd, and let's take a look at the starting lineups. It'll be Jack Flannery of Crandon, Wisconsin, squaring off, as we talked about, against Walker Evans from Riverside, California. And these are really the two guys to watch.
They both have the most horsepower in this field, but there's some other good trucks out here to watch.
Among them, Dave Hockers, John Camp, Dennis Furden, Brian Dunleavy, Dave Parsons, Frank Hood, Tom Vandehey, Gary Garden, Rob Rankus, Scott Taylor, Don Gregory Jr., Larry Colburn, Pat Flanagan, Pete Vandehey, and Rick Kegley. A big field here in Class 8, and we are underway in the Class 8 Championship here at the Brush Run 101, and it's a land rush start, Jerry, as they head for turn 1.
Good start for Walker Evans. They're coming into the center of your screen right now, and he's going to be first into turn 1. Jack Flannery right behind him, though.
Just as we expected, Scott Taylor in third place, and they are flying around turn 1. Oh, big trouble up on the upper left-hand portion of the screen. That looks like Dave Parsons and Don Gregory getting together, both still underway, but a very close call here as we get into the early going. It just narrows down so much, Jerry.
They're trying to squeeze about 18 trucks into one lane of traffic right there. Let's take another look at it. They touch, get sideways. It's very slippery down there. Everybody's full on the throttle, and a lot of dust and rocks being shot around. Visibility very bad, and they just go up on the edge there.
One more look at it. Upper left-hand portion of the screen. Dave Parsons will be in the dark truck, and then it'll be Don Gregory. And look at this. They come very close to going over. Both of them could have easily rolled those trucks over. But back to the action here in the early goings of the Class 8 Championship. Walker Evans, Jack Flannery running 1-2.
Well, these guys are the class of the field, as we mentioned before, and they're having the kind of duel that we expected here today.
Now they are crossing underneath what will be the finish line here at the Brush Run 101. Jack Flannery trying to keep Walker Evans in sight. Evans with about 700 horsepower in that big Dodge.
Well, Jack is doing a good job of keeping Walker in sight, but catching him and passing him are going to be something else again. I think Jack would have liked to have got him on the start rather than be trailing him right now.
Well, boy, he really reeled him in quickly there, Jerry, but look at the horsepower advantage again. Going down that back straightaway, Walker Evans pulls away. Here they come down the front straight one more time, and watch the suspension system work on this big Dodge as well. This is the one area where Walker feels he has the advantage over Jack Flannery.
Well, he really does. He's got a drag race gear in there, and he can accelerate away from anybody.
Coming down towards turn 2, second time around. Look at that. The air that he catches. Walker Evans only knows one speed, and that is flat out fast. In-car shot.
Well, we're looking right now at Walker Evans, and his co-driver is Brian Stewart, Ivan the Iron Man Stewart's son, and Brian is getting a kind of a driver's education lesson driving along with Walker today.
Well, there is Dave Hockers right in front of Dave Parsons. Now Parsons back into 5th place despite that early entanglement with Don Gregory.
He's really been on the hammer coming back through the pack.
These two are still on the hammer. It is really a 2-truck race at this point for the lead between Walker Evans and Jack Flannery, and Walker trying to stretch the margin.
Jack is staying pretty close right now, though, and it's a good race so far.
Here is another good race. This is the battle for 4th. That's Dave Hockers in front of Dave Parsons. As they come through the finish line, they see the green flag signaling they get to go one more time around. Whoa, Parsons getting sideways. Look out, he is going over. Parsons rolls over once, twice, and this is serious if he goes into the lake there. And luckily, Jerry, he holds up just short. If he'd have rolled over one more time, he'd have been submerged upside down.
Well, let's take another look at it here. Parsons gets a little sideways. It's kind of muddy right there past the start-finish line, and he overcorrects, hits that berm, and that gets him going up and over, and he's still on the gas there. You see the drive wheels just churning out the mud behind him. Over another time, if he goes over one more half time, that whole cab would be submerged in the water there. They do have response crews for that type of eventuality, though.
I'll tell you what, the brand new Chevrolet looks great until this moment, as Parsons, one last look at it, This is a wicked spill. The word we are getting is that Dave Parsons is okay. The safety equipment did its job. How much damage will he be able to get that truck repaired for the Heavy Metal Championship is anybody's guess. There you see him. He is out of the vehicle and talking to safety crew workers. So good news for Dave Parsons is that he's okay. Meanwhile, while we're watching that, this is what happened in turn number 2. That's Brian Dunleavy. He gets sideways a little bit, and look out because he is almost off the track. Whoa! That is Tom Vandehey, and he almost hits him.
Now, more trouble for 873 Larry Colborn. It looks like he might have got a rock through that radiator. That's exploded the engine in there, and he's off the course.
Yeah, his race is over. Bad fortune for Larry Colborn. You still see the smoke off into the distance. Here is Walker Evans again. He goes slowly by the accident scene as Dave Parsons' truck is going to stay there till the end of this race. And Evans doing a magnificent job of widening the lead over Jack Flannery. In fact, the margin has grown to about 5 seconds, but all of a sudden, here in this one corner, Flannery reels him back in a little bit.
Well, Jack's leaving his braking late right there, and when he takes off out of the corner, then he loses the time there. Oh, now we had a mishap down here at turn 2.
That's Brian Dunleavy again. He has had trouble and is spun it around, and looks as though it may be terminal at this point. Here comes Walker Evans, again leading Jack Flannery. They are 1 and 2 at this point. In third place, we can tell you, is Scott Taylor. So first, second, and third, but it is a long way back to third place as Walker Evans, a high sign as they come around the corner, and again, more traffic to avoid.
Now, while we're watching that battle, here is what happened at the finish line as Pat Flanagan goes around, does a complete 360, kind of backs up the course workers in that area. He gets on the gas, though, and takes off and stays right with that battle back in the pack that he's with.
Hey, he lost about 2 positions, but is still running in the top 10 at this point. Stay with us. We'll be back with more of the Class 8 Championship. Here's your top 5. Evans, Flannery, Taylor, Hawkers, and Rob Renkus. Welcome back to the Class 8 Championship here at the Brush Run 101. Marty Reid along with Jerry Garrett, and that is Walker Evans. Brian Stewart sitting alongside, and that is Jack Flannery still trying to chase down the 51-year-old veteran from Riverside.
I noticed that time that when Jack went by that his right rear tire looked like the air pressure may have equalized in it. Yep, and it's going down even more now.
So the eagle eye of Jerry Garrett spells doom for Jack Flannery because there's no way he's going to be able to catch Walker Evans with a deflating right rear tire. It's going to be all he can do to just hold on to second place.
Yeah, he's got to go almost a mile back to the pits to even get that thing changed.
Well, the other thing it does, it puts a tremendous amount of strain on the drivetrain. Now, that's John Kemp, and he is being lapped both by Evans and by Jack Flannery. Now, Walker Evans, I'm sure he does not know about Flannery's problem, but he will shortly as he sees his margin stretch over second place, Jack Flannery.
Now, Flannery has eschewed a pit stop there. He's going to stay on that tire and keep going. Oh, I think that's a big mistake. Maybe he didn't know it was flat. Sometimes you don't know on the handling of the thing. And that tire has come off, come around, and taken the whole rear quarter out of that car.
Well, it has been a costly right rear flat for Jack Flannery. Now, what that means is that second place is now handed to Scott Taylor. And here comes Taylor into view. He is battling with Rob Renkus at this point. Renkus in third, and farther back in fourth place will be Dave Hawkers.
Now, Renkus' truck is really smoking, but it's going fast. He's taken over second place now from Scott Taylor. Taylor seems to have some kind of a handling problem there because he's really not able to go through the corners like he's supposed to.
Yeah, he's out in the soft marbles out there, and he's in jeopardy as Dave Hawkers is closing in quickly of losing third place and being dropped all the way back to fourth. If Hawkers, yes, gets the acceleration through here, he could hold on to third place over Scott Taylor, and does.
I think that Scott has something wrong, at least in the rear suspension of that truck, that keeps him from going through the corners like he wants.
Look at the margin. You're right, Jerry. There is definitely something wrong with the handling. Meanwhile, The man up front running away with this event is Walker Evans. Since Jack Flannery has dropped out, Walker is all alone. Now that's lap traffic in front of him as they come barreling around for another lap.
Well, Walker's got a big lead now. I don't know, because they don't use radios in these cars during these races, if he knows how big his lead is, but he is certainly not letting off the gas at all.
Well, Rankus has come into contact with something, or something is shaking loose, at least that right rear quarter panel, and Hawkers and he are going after second place. That is the battle for second position.
This is a good duel between a couple of guys who rolled over while battling together at the Memorial Day 100 earlier this year.
Well, here is Walker Evans getting ready to stare at a checkered flag as he is coming around. The final turn for the final time. High signs for everybody. There is the flag and the victory to the 51-year-old Riverside veteran Walker Evans here in the Class 8 championship at the Brush Run 101. And now it's a matter of who's going to take over second place. Rankus trying to hold off Dave Hawkers.
Well, we can see there's still a little smoke coming out of Rankus's truck, but it seems to not be bothering its performance at all. He is really moving.
Down into turn 2, and you're right, Jerry, more smoke coming out, and that is not tire smoke. Whether it's an oil overflow or something transmission oriented, who knows, but the question will be, can he hold on for the last couple of turns? Here comes Hawkers making his move. Oh, getting close, and they touch. They make contact down into the corner, and it's a matter of who's going to come out on the upper hand. And it looks like a left rear tire has gone down after the contact with Rob Rankus, and he's going to have to try and hold on. If he can keep the inside line, maybe Hawkers will have to go to the outside. They make the final turn. Who's going to make it to the finish line? Get your cameras ready. It's going to be Dave Hawkers. Hawkers edges Rob Rankus for second place here at the Class 8 Championship of the Brush Run 101. Some exciting racing. Stay with us. We'll be back with the winner, Walker Evans. But first this. Marty Reid and Jerry Garrett back at the Brush Run 101, where the Class 8 Championship has just been won by Walker Evans. You can take a look at the final standings. Dave Hawkers is in second, Rob Rankus in third, Scott Taylor comes in fourth, and then Dennis Furden moved up to fifth spot in the final order of finish. Let's go down to Jerry.
Well, the winner of our Class 8 race today, who else? Walker Evans. And boy, you had it hooked up in no uncertain terms.
Well, we did. That Dodge was flat running out here. I've been told that I even turned a, let's see, a 135.3, which is phenomenal for a big heavyweight vehicle.
Now, you've really been on a hot streak lately. The truck just keeps running and running. It's really reliable as well as fast.
Well, Randy Anderson and John Searle and the guys in the shop are doing a fantastic job putting that Dodge together, and I'll tell you, it loves this track.
You had time actually today out here today to conduct a kind of a driver's education clinic for your co-driver, Brian Stewart.
Well, that's right. I brought him all the way from California out here, and I said, Brian, jump in the right seat. I want to show you how these things can really happen on this smooth track. And he's really learned a lot. He's come a long ways. He had a great second place run over a couple of weeks ago in Willow, and now he's over here to learn a little more. I expect a lot out of Brian.
Well, this is the right teacher, the old master, Walker Evans.
Well, our congratulations to Walker Evans on his Class A championship. We'll see him a little bit later as they'll reload for the heavy metal title. Now we've got the Unlimited Buggy Championship, and the starting lineup will include from San Antonio, Texas, and the winner of our spring event here in Crandon, Billy Beck, alongside of Jeff Probst from New Lenox, Illinois. A hard-charging racing family. Also in the field, a big field, 17 as we go down the list.
Some of the drivers to watch: Dave Vandermissen Jr. and his dad, Dave Vandermissen Sr., Jim Struble, Art Schmidt, Don Ponder, Lee Wiestoff, and John Greaves.
Well, we're ready to go racing here. Rear engine, Unlimited Buggy Championship. The green flag drops, and again, the land rush start as they have to narrow down to about a 60-foot opening into turn 1, and they will be flying. And the question is, who's going to come away with the lead? It looks like it's going to be Billy Beck. Beck with the number 7, and whoa, things get jammed up in the turn. We've got a couple of vehicles on top of each other. Todd Wallace, Ken Poole, and Alan Andrioli. Those 3 vehicles, as well as one more we can't seem to make an identification on, but those vehicles all getting underway, but somebody leaving some parts behind.
Well, as we mentioned before in the start of the truck race, visibility very difficult up there. A lot of cars trying to fit into one space, and that's the problem here again. They collide together and get all tangled up there. Fortunately, nobody hurt, no serious damage to any of the cars.
Everybody underway, albeit without some parts. Let's go to the front of the pack where it's Billy Beck first, John Greaves second, Dave Vandermissen Jr. third, Art Schmidt fourth. There's Don Ponder and Lee Wiestoff fifth and sixth. Now here's the battle for the lead. That's Beck in front of Greaves.
Beck's had a good weekend here in some of the earlier races, so he has to be considered the favorite in this event.
Well, Greaves from De Pere, Wisconsin, trying to pass the San Antonio Flash. In fact, Beck, who makes the long haul from Texas for this event, won, as we mentioned, back in the spring and had a tremendous weekend back in June when we were here. And here he is again out in front, and look at how close it appears from this camera angle.
Well, that telephoto lens kind of condenses down that margin, but Greaves is staying really close behind Billy Beck.
Down and whoa, Beck gets sideways and up into the rough rocks area, and here comes John Greaves. They make contact, and Greaves is going to make the pass stick, so the mistake by Beck is costly, and Greaves takes over the lead.
I tell you, Beck's tires really took a beating and held together for him. He's lucky when he hit those two big rocks up in the corner that he didn't pop a tire and really lose some positions here.
Well, they are already approaching some of the slower traffic. In fact, right up in front, I just saw a glimpse. Yeah, there's one of the vehicles going extremely slow, as that may play a factor here in the early going of this race, as that is Rich Alt. And look at what it does. Billy Beck just closes up on John Greaves.
There is really only one fast way through that corner, Marty, and Alt had that line blocked. So Greaves had to respect that, and that allowed Beck to close up the margin. And he's back in contention right now, breathing down Greaves' tailpipe.
Well, stay with us. We'll be back for the conclusion of the Unlimited Buggy Championship. There's your leaderboard as we're in Vacation Land, USA.
The stress headache.
Welcome back to the Brush Run 101, the Unlimited Buggy Championship. Marty Reid and Jerry Garrett, and that is Billy Beck. And Jerry, it looks as though he has smoked a motor.
Well, our second place runner has really abused his buggy, and it's not surprising to me to see him park before this one's over.
So the winner of the spring run is not going to be the winner here in the fall. And look at this. This is our leader, John Greaves. He is slowing in turn 2 and is going to be passed for the lead.
He was passed by Dave Vandermissen Jr., who is now in the process of being passed by Art Schmidt for the lead. So we see the lead change hands 3 times in a matter of 100 yards.
Things have really gotten hectic here. This is third place, Jeff Probst. And you know, Probst comes from a racing family, a very interesting group of people. We had a chance to spend some time with them earlier.
When they win, I win. That's really what it is.
Like father, like son, and like other son. Back when he started racing in the late 60s, Steve Probst never dreamt that one day he would have not one, but 2 sons competing professionally behind the wheel. For 32-year-old Jeff Probst, his 28-year-old brother Kevin, driver's education was, according to Dad, a crash course.
Both my boys had to ride with me for 1 full year before they could drive a race car. That was their training program. And I figured if they could survive me, they could survive on their own.
And survive on their own they have, to the point where each has developed his own role within the team.
Here, I do a lot of the machine work, you know, the machining aspects of the Bridgeport and the lathe. And Jeff does most of the design and fabrication. And my dad does most of the engine development and work. It all comes down to a cooperation between the whole family that enables all of us to have the success we have. In working, we all have our own duties, so we don't overlap each other in the process of working, even during the day at our body shop and on our spare time on the racing.
During those days at the body shop, the Probst family still remains a team, repairing other people's mistakes. Steve appraises the damage, Jeff fixes it, and Kevin keeps track of it. But there is yet another aspect to the Probst family and racing team.
The women involved, Kevin's wife Vicki and my girlfriend Melanie, that just brings in a family picture. You know, we all do things together. So they even have their responsibilities that they have to do.
The truth is, the Probst guys don't like their fingernails dirty, so we have to do all the cleaning. All the washing of the tires, the trailer, the inside, the outside, the helmets, the driver's suit. What else?
I don't trivialize the little jobs because they have to get done, and if someone doesn't do it, then we have to do it, and that takes away from what we're trying to accomplish on some of the more difficult aspects of the racing.
And now, just as the father-son cycle is nearly complete, the story begins anew. Meet Jeff's 8-year-old son, Jonathan, and guess what he wants to do when he grows up.
Be a race car driver and repair cars like my dad.
And guess what his sights are set on?
Winning the championship at Crandon.
And who knows, maybe 20 years from now, someone else will be doing a story about Jonathan and his young son, who also wants to grow up to be a race car driver. Well, our thanks to the Probst family for allowing us to spend some time with them. There is Lee Wiestoff, and bad news for the Probst. He's got what looks like a right front tire going down a little bit, Jerry, and he's just been passed for 3rd place.
Yeah, that's affected his handling a lot there. You can see that the tire is flat on the bottom. It's round on the rest of it, but the bottom part is the thing that he needs right now.
So Wiestoff moves up to 3rd place, and now it'll be a matter of can he reel in Dave Vandermissen Jr. for 2nd, and there it is. That is the battle on the race course for 2nd place.
Now, Vandermissen's engine showing a little smoke there, so I don't think it's running completely the way it should. Wiestoff coming up on the inside gets a good bite off that corner, and over the big jump, he takes over 2nd place.
Now, Art Schmidt, while we were taking a look at the Probst family, it managed to open up the lead a little bit, and now that you can see, the white flag is out, and the question will be, can Lee Wiestoff reel in Art Schmidt and take over the lead in the Unlimited Buggy Championship? There is the battle now as Vandermissen is being closed in upon by Jeff Probst. Even with that going flat right front tire, semi-deflated, there is a pass for 3rd place, so Jeff Probst manages to come back and take 3rd. Here is Art Schmidt approaching lap traffic. Now that's Terry Stotzheim in front of Art. Art in the 902, and he looks to the inside to try and set up and make a clean pass. Remember, no rear view mirrors on these Unlimited buggies.
Yeah, you really got to respect the traffic out here. As we saw in the spring run race, that's where Walker Evans met his downfall, was going smashing through traffic and then knocked a couple of tires loose on his car.
Well, just a couple of more turns for Art Schmidt, and it looks as though he will cruise to victory here in the Unlimited Buggy Championship at the Brush Run 101 as he makes the final turn, takes the checkered flag, and wins here in Crandon, Wisconsin. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner, Art Schmidt, right after this. Marty Reid and Jerry Garrett back with you at the Brush Run 101 in Crandon, Wisconsin, and here are the final results from the Unlimited Buggy Championship. Behind Art Schmidt, Lee Wiestoff comes in 2nd, Jeff Probst finishes 3rd, Dave Vandermissen Jr. held on for 4th, and Jim Struble was 5th. Let's go down to Jerry with our winner.
With our Unlimited Buggy winner, Art Schmidt, and you got a not-so-great start, but you had a pretty good finish.
Well, yeah, we worked up through traffic. We've had a few problems this weekend. Had to do a couple motor changes, but everything held together for us right in the championship.
Tell us about the pass that got you the lead there.
Well, it was one of the Vandermissens. We got to run him down there. We took the turn a little tighter than he did and was able to just tuck underneath him. He's got a strong running car, and he gave me quite a bit of battle for about 6 or 7 laps there. It was tough getting around him.
How about winning the Brush Run? That's a pretty big race for you, isn't it?
It is. We run this series all year long, but up here it draws the most people and the most spectators and competitors, and yeah, it is.
Well, thanks, Jerry, and our congratulations to Art Schmidt. Well, we're ready to go back racing again as this community spirit is in full force, 40,000 plus, as we get ready for the Class 7 Championship for the mini trucks, and here are the guys to watch.
Jeff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin, a hometown boy, and Spencer Lowe from out west in Lake Havasu, Arizona.
Spencer Lowe finished 2nd back in the spring run. Jim Wiggins from Dixon, Illinois, and Tom Hawkers. We've seen his brother Dave earlier in the Class 8 Championship. It's Tom's turn now.
In the rest of the field, Brian Farrell, Scott Taylor, Dave Vandenelsen, Alan Walentowski, Terry Friday, Mark Holmes, Beetle Bailey, Jim Bradley, and Jeff LaPointe.
Beetle Bailey, not the comic strip character. He is a character, though. We had a chance to spend some time with him earlier this weekend, and he is fired up and ready to go racing, as they all are. He wants to win this race more than anything, and there is what it looks like inside our General Tire in-car camera from Spencer Lowe's point of view as they head for turn 1.
Spencer coming up alongside Tom Hawkers and passing him there. Now he's coming up alongside Beetle Bailey, and he's going around him as they go into turn 1.
This is where things really can get interesting, although it looks as though it's a clean sweep for Spencer Lowe. There you see him get a little sideways. He's the second vehicle in line. Jim Wiggins managed to get underneath him and has taken the early lead. Now back inside, that's Jeff Kincaid trying to pass on the inside, and looks like he will make it stick as they head into turn 2.
A lot of rocks and dirt coming through the windshield. You see Spencer reaches over and takes off one of those tearaways on his helmet.
So let's set it for you. You've got Jim Wiggins in first place, Jeff Kincaid in second, then Spencer Lowe and Tom Hawkers in third and fourth, as everybody is nose to tail here in the early going of the Class 7 championship.
Now we can see as they head up over the big jump here that the course is real shiny, real slippery. They water this thing down to try and keep the dust down. As a consequence, the early laps are just a mud bowl out here.
So the tearaway is obviously going to be needed here as they come through what will be the finish line for the event. Jim Wiggins holding off Jeff Kincaid, and Wiggins spraying up a little bit of a, gets sideways, gives an opening to Kincaid, but he cannot take advantage of it, as again, the watering keeps the dust down in the early going, but it makes the driving a little bit tricky until it starts to dry out.
Well, the drivers really don't know how wild they went with the water truck until they start the race. They haven't seen this course except in practice when it's dry.
Now there is Spencer Lowe in third. That is Tom Hawkers in fourth as the jockeying for position continues down the back stretch. It looks like Kincaid is going to try and make a move to the inside. The question will be, can he make it stick down the front straightaway? Spencer Lowe also heading into the corner as well. Now there is Kincaid. There is Spencer Lowe, and Spencer Lowe is getting sideways and spinning all the way around.
I think Spencer, like we were talking about, misjudged how wet that part of the course was, and he just went around.
Well, it's cost him about at least 2 positions, and as we see Kincaid go down through, we can go to the in-car camera and see how much Spencer Lowe actually did spin. This is what it looked like right at the tail end. We had a little bit of video breakup at the beginning of it, but you can see he's checking everything out. Everything looked to be okay. And now here's the battle for second place. Jim Wiggins in front of Scott Taylor. That is Tom Hawkers, brother of Dave, in fourth position.
Oh, and Tom plows into the back of Scott's truck, almost knocks him off the course. Scott corrects, though, and keeps the position.
And I'm wondering, Jerry, look at Hawkers. It looks as though he's backed off a little bit. I'm wondering if he's saying, hey, I didn't mean to stick you on purpose, because he's got the inside line there. If he puts the hammer down, there's no wheel spin in the back there. He could have taken the position.
That was good sportsmanship for sure there, Marty.
So the positions remain the same. Wiggins in second, Taylor in third. As you can see, he has got a problem now with that hood coming up.
Well, he's got one pin that's holding the hood down right now. If that one pin comes loose, it's going to fly back up over the windshield. We've seen a couple of instances of that this year where it's just blinded the driver until that hood finally blows away. They have to get going pretty fast for it to blow away. They don't want to get going very fast if their vision's blocked.
Scott Taylor trying to move on the inside. Now, yes, this is the same Scott Taylor who drove earlier in the Class 8 championship. He has 2 trucks as well. In fact, he even has a buggy that he runs in another class. Heading into the front straightaway turn there, he manages to take over the position. Now, there's the margin between first, Jeff Kincaid, and you can see out in the background the battle for second. Scott Taylor in front of Jim Wiggins.
This battle for second place is a good one. Scott Taylor does have some smoke coming out of the bottom of that engine, though, and I wouldn't be concerned about that. Now let's take a look inside with fifth place Spencer Lowe in the General Tire in-car camera. He is really trying to make up some ground after that early spin.
Boy, and he has managed to move back up through 2 spots and comes around down the front straightaway. So he has got clean sailing in front of him as he heads for turn 1 more time. Whoa, wait a minute. Trouble for second place, Scott Taylor, as he is pulling over to the side of the road and has dropped out here of the Class 7 Championship at the Brush Run 101. There's your top 5. We'll be back with more right after this. This is Marty Reid and Jerry Garrett back with you at the Brush Run 101, and this is the Class 7 Championship, and that is our leader, Jeff Kincaid, as he's making his way through the gravel pit. Now, we'll give you an idea of the margin that he has built. This is the difference. There is first place and way over On the backside, that is second place Jim Wiggins, followed now by Spencer Lowe, who has managed to get around Tom Hawkers.
Well, some of the competitors out here, Marty, are grumbling about the advantage that Jeff Kincaid does have, and the second place battle may have more significance than it usually does, because several of the competitors say after the race they're going to protest Jeff Kincaid's truck. So this could be a battle for the lead right here.
Well, it's amazing when you really think about it, the distance that Spencer Lowe has closed up here. He, at one point, was in 7th spot after that spin in the early going.
Well, he's driven a smart race, actually, Marty. He hasn't really overtaxed the truck, but he has kept up a real steady pace, put the pressure on these guys, and he has really given Jim Wiggins a run for his money right now for this position.
Well, this is his second time to Crandon, and he said he learned a lot back in the spring, and obviously it's paying off. This is Jeff Kincaid heading down into turn 1 one more time, and boy, does he get that pedal down. Coming through a series of jumps here, this next one gets a little tricky right here sometimes. If you come down sideways, you could be in big trouble, but so far everybody has been negotiating it. They made changes there from last spring when there was a big water hazard there. Now back inside with Spencer Lowe.
Our General Tire in-car camera is showing you just how hard Spencer Lowe is working to try and get around Jim Wiggins here.
Takes a look to the inside, but Wiggins managing to hold on to about a full truck length lead as they head up over turn 2.
Well, I think Spencer is respecting Wiggins' position here on the track. I think he has the faster truck now, but he doesn't want to do anything unsportsmanlike in trying to pass Wiggins.
Well, it's no doubt Wiggins is driving a defensive race at this point. Look at how tight he is keeping it on the inside. He says, Spencer, if you're going to pass me, you're going to have to do it on the outside.
Now, there's really only one line through there, and as long as Wiggins continues to protect that effectively, Spencer really can't get past him. He's doing the same thing right here.
Oh, look out, and now you're right, Jerry. Spencer could have tapped him in the rear and literally spun him out, but does not. Tip of the hat there, but Wiggins really doing a great job of making his truck work tight down inside.
Spencer Lowe really on the gas over that corner, trying to take some momentum down into this corner, hope that Wiggins makes a mistake so he can get inside and pass him for the position. Whoa, they come together and they touch this time, but Spencer backs out of it and let Wiggins take the position still.
Well, we are on the final lap. We ought to check back in with our leader. Jeff Kincaid is down into the gravel pit with a huge lead. He can literally cruise home and is cruising home. And this is where the battle is. Whoa, Spencer Lowe almost gets nose heavy. And gets it up on the side.
Oh, that's rough on the truck. There's a lot of rocks along the side of this course.
One final turn for Jeff Kincaid to negotiate, and he'll be staring at a checkered flag. This is the final turn. Jeff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin, takes the checkered flag here in the Class 7 championship, pulls it over, but now we'll switch our attention back to the battle for second place, because it is still going on between Jim Wiggins and Spencer Lowe. And here they come, and it looks as though Wiggins has opened up a little bit of the gap.
That last bobble we saw Spencer make was costly.
Well, there's the checkered flag for second place, Jim Wiggins. Third place to Spencer Lowe. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner at the Brush Run 1. Welcome back to the Brush Run 101, and checking the final results, there has been a change at the top. Jeff Kincaid was disqualified by race officials for a technical violation involving the track width of his vehicle. Now, the order of finish is as follows. Jim Wiggins in first place, Spencer Lowe in second, Terry Friday moves up to third, Alan Walentowski fourth, Brian Farrell is fifth.
We're with our Class 7 winner, Jim Wiggins. And Jim, you kind of pulled an end zone catch on this race.
Yeah, I tell you, it felt like there was a chain between me and Spencer, but I tried to keep a tight line. I knew that he'd be right on my tail because he runs generals too, so I just tried to keep him away, and luckily I was able to stay in front.
You got off to a pretty good start. Did that help you through the race?
Oh yeah, starts are always very important. You know, there's probably 16, 17 trucks out there, and you get stuffed in the start, and you got to play a lot of catching up.
Winning the Brush Run is a big feather in your cap, I guess.
Oh yeah, like a dream come true. It's my only 4th year racing, and I just built the truck. This is my first year in 7S, so it's just like a dream.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Jerry, and our congratulations also to Jim Wiggins. You know, earlier we talked about that friendly rivalry that has developed between Walker Evans and Jack Flannery. Now, the two men trade stories and race secrets off the track. As an example, Walker has helped Jack with a suspension setup while learning a little about Jack's ability to make horsepower. But make no mistake about it, on the track, each one wants to beat the other man.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, I look up to this man right here, and as far as being friends, I want to be friends with Walker. I enjoy being around him. I enjoy racing with him, and we're out here to beat one another. I mean, that's what racing's all about, but I want to stay friends when it's all over.
It's been an interesting year because earlier in June, he won Class 8, you won Heavy Metal. Then you go out west to Willow Springs, you won there on your turf. Now you're back on his turf.
Well, we sure are, and Jack's got a lot of horsepower, like I've said, and he knows this track, but that Dodge knows its way around here, too, and I've come out here to win a race.
Okay, so who's going to win?
Well, I don't know. You're going to have to find out.
Yeah, I think Heavy Metal, I'm going to predict I'm going to be the winner this year.
Uh-oh, here we go.
All right.
Well, now's the time to find out who's going to be king of the hill for 1990, the Heavy Metal Showdown at the Brush Run 101. And you know, Jerry, Jack invited Walker and his crew for a cookout last night at his house. The food was absolutely excellent. And I asked Walker, how could he go out and beat Jack with a good conscience after such a feast? He said simply, just watch me.
Well, here's a couple of guys we can't discount in this field. A couple of dark horses. Scott Taylor, who we've seen in earlier races, and Greg Gerlach, who is very, very quick.
Like one of our in-cart cameras will be with Greg Gerlach. Here's the rest of the field. Jerry Bundy, Craig Gray, Ron Hill, Bill Sims, right on down the line in Class 3. There's also Class 4 vehicles, as you can take a look. Jeff Dorr in that field, can't count him out, nor Brad Mahalko. Kevin Probst will be debuting a new truck. And then in Class 8, you've got Dave Hawkers, John Camp, Dennis Furt. Dave Parsons did get rebuilt and is in the starting field. Now, we talked about our in-car camera. There is our first view inside Greg Gerlach, and that is out the rear of Walker Evans' truck. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we're going to find out.
Well, Walker Evans is in the second row of trucks here. He's third from the left, the blue truck back there, and he's going to come up through the pack real quick, as we can see in a hurry.
Green flag racing, and hold on, folks, because here we go through turn 1. Whoa, I'm just going to sit back and watch.
You can see how much garbage gets thrown up to the trucks behind.
This is what it looks like from the camera position in turn 2. Walker getting a little sideways, and we can tell you already the camera has taken a licking, and it is no longer ticking. So Walker Evans is in third place, though, as that second row starting position not very helpful to him. And there is Dave Parsons. Tip of the hat to his crew. They got that truck back together from the Class 8 race, and he has made the starting field.
But Walker's come out of that behind Jack Flannery, so far Flannery's prediction is holding pretty good.
And Walker did manage to get around Greg Gerlach. Gerlach there in third place. Now that's what it looks like inside.
He is really working now. We've seen inside Walker's truck before. He's only got like half a turn lock to lock on the steering. Gerlach, however, has got like 3 full turns lock to lock, so he's really busy.
You can see the crowd off into the background there. 40,000 people watching this Heavy Metal Championship, and here is Jeff Probst in that brand new vehicle, and that is the battle for third position. Probst, Kevin, not Jeff. Jeff was in our earlier buggy race, but here's Kevin handling what appears to be the sideways move of Greg Gerlach, and maybe a pass for position. No. Boy, some great racing action here.
Gerlach's crew put in a drag race gear, the lowest gear they could find for this particular race. They said the truck is either going to go real fast or blow up. Right now it's going real fast.
Well, here is Jack Flannery in the Class 4 four-wheel drive. Second place, Walker Evans as they come blasting through. And boy, Flannery has opened up about a 7-truck length lead. And there is the battle for third place. That is Greg Gerlach, Kevin Probst, and Jeff Dorr. That is for position, and here comes Probst on the inside.
And he takes the position, a good job. Oh, and he goes out wide, and Gerlach is coming right back at him.
Here is Probst, then Gerlach, then Jeff Dorr. That is third, fourth, and fifth, and here's the battle for the lead.
Now, Jack Flannery's pulled out to a nice advantage here in the early going, but Walker's leaving his braking late right there, coming in close on Flannery. Whoa, they almost come together. It's real slippery past the start-finish line for the water truck, and Walker takes the position, and he's just as loose as Jack Flannery is.
Boy, Flannery got sideways just long enough for Walker Evans to go cannon shot past him. and take the lead for the Heavy Metal Championship here at the Brush Run 101. Stay with us. We'll be back with the conclusion of the race. Here's your leaderboard. Walker Evans, Jack Flannery, Kevin Probst, Greg Gerlach, and Jeff Dorr. Marty Reid and Jerry Garrett back with you, and yes, we certainly agree that the Brush Run is #1, and I just wonder, does Mom ever get the sheet back?
Good battle back in the pack now. Jack Flannery falling back in the clutches of Kevin Probst.
And Greg Gerlach is not far behind either, as he is closing down on Probst. Now there's Gerlach cutting to the inside. Nice move if he can make it stick, Jerry.
Well, we saw earlier in that mini truck race where the leader was taking the tight line through there. That time Probst went wide and Gerlach took advantage of it.
Wait a minute. Probst has got to have a problem. Look at this. He is slowed down dramatically. He's getting past there. Yes, he is pulling that brand new truck off, so it looks as though the day is over for Kevin Probst. Up front, Walker Evans is starting to pull away. A huge lead here in the Heavy Metal Championship. Inside with Greg Gerlach, our General Tire in-car camera, give you an idea what he's going through. Notice the tearaways, nice and clean at this point. The track's starting to dry out.
We can hear that engine really whine as he goes down through that straightaway there. He is really at top speed.
And Jerry, while we were on the in-car shot, Gerlach must have passed Flannery on the outside away from our camera view. He is now second, Flannery in third.
It looks like something is wrong in the front suspension on Flannery's. Boy, Gerlach goes way wide, gets over in the rocks there, gets back on the course, but Flannery's able to close down on him again.
Well, let's watch Flannery's suspension here. The front is what you're pointing to. It looks as though, yeah, he is. He's having trouble tracking. Take a look at that. Look at how sideways he's getting, and he wasn't anywhere near the kind of speed that he was earlier in the race. So he's definitely got some kind of problem with the suspension setup. Meanwhile, that is Walker Evans, and here is Greg Gerlach.
Good shots from inside with our General Tire camera. You can see how hard Greg is working to stay in front here.
Walker Evans down the front straightaway one more time. He has got a huge lead. He could almost coast home from here and take the Heavy Metal Championship. Through turn number 2, as look at the way that truck just settles back down after it comes over those jumps.
Yeah, it lands on all 4 wheels every time it goes over a jump.
Greg Gerlach in second place, but wait a minute, Jerry, he is slowing down. This is going to cost him a position. There is something wrong, and the crew goes to work. He must be overheating.
And there goes Jack Flannery. Yes, he does have an overheating problem. He's running a real low gear that runs high RPMs and is making that engine work too hard.
So Flannery now inherits second place back from Greg Gerlach. Meanwhile, here is Walker Evans up and over the jump. He's got lap traffic in front of him. In fact, that is 5th place Dennis Furden right now. And Walker is going to lap him and take the checkered flag at the same time. So here is your winner of the Heavy Metal Championship, making it a sweep with his Class 8 title to go with it, Walker Evans, as he wins the Brush Run 101. And in second place will be Jack Flannery, coming up and over, nursing that wounded suspension, but claiming second place, and obviously already thinking about, I'm going to get him next year. Well, stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner, Walker Evans, at the Brush Run 101. Marty Reid and Jerry Garrett back with you at the Brush Run 101, where we have witnessed a spectacular performance by Walker Evans in the Heavy Metal Championship. Jerry's made his way to victory lane.
Well, our Heavy Metal Challenge winner, Walker Evans, I got to say, it didn't start out like you wanted it to. I guess it finished the way you wanted it to.
Well, you know, they had so many cars in this start, I had to start in the second row, so who else would be better to line up behind than Jack Flannery? That's why he led me into the first corner. Those 2 trucks do have a lot of power, and I'll tell you, I just couldn't get around him going into that turn.
Shows how important the start is to some of these guys, isn't it?
When you have that many cars, the start is so important. And, you know, it's door handle to door handle like an Oklahoma Land Rush start, and you just hope nobody bangs you all the way up there. Fortunately, this was a real good start.
Even though he had a little bit slower truck than you, it took you 2 or 3 laps to reel him in.
Well, it did. You know, they watered this course down. A 4-wheel drive vehicle has a little bit of advantage in the wet circumstances, and it just took a little while for it to dry up so those Goodyear tires would hook up and that 2-wheel drive start working good.
Any worries once you got in the lead?
No, none whatsoever. The truck ran 200 degrees and ran 160 on the transmission. It was just flawless. I'll tell you, it was a good run.
Walker Evans defends his Heavy Metal Championship from last year.
And in the process, makes it a clean sweep after winning the Class 8 championship as well. Behind Walker here in the heavy metal title, it's Jack Flannery, Greg Gerlach in third, Bill Lope in fourth, and Tom Farrow is officially fifth.
Well, that's going to do it for this year's edition of the Brush Run 101. And, Jerry, it never ceases to amaze me. It's the second time we've covered this event, but 40,000 people in this little town of 2,000.
Well, this has been a big race right from the outset 20-odd years ago. It gets bigger and bigger every year. I wonder what the future holds for this race. Great things, I imagine.
Well, what the future holds for us is that we have one more race on the 1990 calendar. It'll be the Presidente Score Baja 1000. And we'll see you then as we go off-road racing on ESPN Speed World.
And as we say goodbye, we close with a tradition here at the Brush Run 101. It's called the Good Old Boys Race. 200 vehicles thrashing around this race course. Today's race has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. And by Firestone, tires that beat the test.